Welcome back. Well, you're still joining us on Prime Sunrise and heading back to the newspapers. In the Daily News, another story is opposition lacks arithmetic knowledge. UPFA General Secretary and Education Minister Cecil Premachan said the opposition lacks the knowledge of basic arithmetic and it is engaged in levelling baseless allegations at the government over the election results. The minister said the people cannot be taken for a ride by the adverse media campaign carried out by the opposition members to the effect that the results of the recently concluded presidential election have been manipulated. As you can see on the screen, that's Minister Premchand. He had this to say. Deepamala?
Yeah, a Daily News front page. Again, another headline is that India, Maldives to sign anti-terror agreement. So this says that India and Maldives have agreed to sign the agreement on anti-terror measures and information sharing by April. Indian Home Minister Chidambaram and his Maldives counterpart Shihab reached the agreement during their meeting in Indian capital on Wednesday, and they quoted sources from the Home Ministry. So this is again a headline on the front page, and there's another picture which says people gather in their thousand to be part of the 62nd Independence Day celebration. So that is the picture again on the Daily News. And if you go to the, before going to the editorial of the Daily of the Island, Sharon, do you want to take the headlines of the Daily Mirror?
Yeah. Daily Mirror actually reads, help rebuild Lanka. It says President appeals to international community. President Mahinda Rajapaksa, in his address to the nation yesterday in Kandy, said it was time for the international community to assist Sri Lanka in its endeavour to rebuild the country in a more vigorous manner after the end of the separatist war, as no one could revive terrorism again in this soil. This was mentioned by President Mahinda Rajapaksa. That was yesterday, it being Independence Day and all that. That is the headlines on Daily Mirror.
Yeah, and the editorial on Island, it says Paul's chiefs lament, and it goes on the many claims that has been discussed, and it also says that their reaction to the outcome of last week's presidential election is a case in point. They have every right to disagree with the election commissioner, but the onus is on them to cite valid reasons. Worse, they are making irresponsible and vexatious utterance in public at the expense of the reputation and professional integrity of the key public officials like the EC and his staff. At Wednesday's press briefing, the Election Commission said about the rumors that he had been neither held at gunpoint nor placed under the house arrest when the final results were announced, contrary to claims by some opposition politicians to that effect. But within hours of his press briefing, JVP leader Somavan Samarasinghe audaciously claimed at a public rally in Colombo that the election commissioner has been held at Temple Trees while results were being released. Somavansa may be trying to avoid a whitewash at the next parliamentary polls, but such lies will not help with the task. So they are also focusing on the allegations made by the opposition that election commission was arrested and that it was blatant lies. And it also goes on to touch on many aspects, in concluding saying, we Sri Lankans find ourselves in a peculiar position. We are surrounded by good-for-nothing politicians feathering their nests at our expense, but we seek from them remedies for the very ills they themselves cause. Never does it seem to occur to us that using our vote wisely for decent candidates is the half the battle in cleaning the unholy mess we are in. I think that is a message for the parliamentary election as well, Sharon, because it's up to the voter to sort of select the right candidates. So that's again, it's a message there.
In the Daily Mirror, going back to another story, it says a giant national flag flutters in Colombo. A giant 500 square foot national flag displayed at the Independence Square in Colombo attracted many people who passed the area yesterday. The 100 feet long and 50 feet wide flag has been prepared by S. Lal, a businessman from Kalutara, as you can see on the screen. That that is a giant flag. The giant flag was tied between two palm trees. There is a bit of a story as well, and this was huge. Like I said, it was 5,000 square foot, and yeah, so as you can see, it was very big national flag. And also moving on to another story, it says talking about the general elections rather, it says artists to contest polls. Several popular film actors and actresses are slated to contest the upcoming general elections according to informed sources, it says in the Daily Mirror. Among the artists who are expected to contest the general election are Jackson Anthony, Geeta Kumarsinghe and Malini Fonseca, amidst speculation that popular film director Somaratna Dissanayake would be included in the UPFA national list as well. So there you go, as you can see on the screen, that is the picture on the papers.
That's actually a very interesting
yeah, very interesting news.
And again on the island features, there's an article which says President Rajapaksa needs to expand his comfort zone. It goes on to talk about that the Rajapaksa administration will have to place economic growth as the bedrock of all future development plans. In the past, the war deflected attention away from economic issues and economic growth. However, now with a directionless JVP in the opposition and former LTT combatants returning to civilian life, the youth unemployment bulge will be a key destabilizing factor if not addressed satisfactorily. So that is why, because of the unemployment factor, that they are focusing on the development process and the economic integration. So the article starts by saying that the president's resounding victory placed in perspective the feelings of many Sri Lankans, a sense of gratitude towards a president that had courage to withstand international pressure and take the battle to the end, a feat that was by all considerations thought to be inconceivable. And then it goes on to talk about the Mawil-Aru confrontations provided an initial test for Gotabaya's plan. And then they're focusing on the second term. In his second term, President Rajapaksa will have to redefine his international credentials and rebuild the international standing of Sri Lanka. The President needs to expand his diplomatic circle. And then he goes on to talk about the economic development and how unemployment problem also has to be addressed. So you have other news items, Sharon?
Yes, in the Daily Mirror it says probe over alleged plot to assassinate President continues. It says investigations into the alleged plot to assassinate President Mahinda Rajapaksa are still continuing, with several suspects being arrested in this regard. Media Centre for National Security Director General Lakshman Hulagala, however, refused to divulge further details into the investigation, and there is a continuation to that story as well. Well, these are all things that takes place, I guess, during the time of elections. And you have the editorial on...
yes, I think I touched on the editorial.